So, season 31 Anti-Cleave tier list. I'm going to try and go through here. And of course, this is just my opinion based on my experience. So, I guess I could do Eladriel. I didn't fight too many. I was always just like the full bruiser players that, you know, kind of pick it into, you're picking like Sonya, Jara, single target snipes, and they slam down Eladriel. I think it's probably not as good as something like a Nana or Vanessa or even Tyranis, because Tyranis can actually kill stuff, get defense buff, and then of course it had the buff where he cycles, I think the skill 3 if you hit him. So I'm going to say Ela's probably down in C tier now as one of the revivers, so. Arda. What can I say about Arda? It's like, I don't know, if you're Rax, it's probably up here when you pick it correctly. Right? I felt like as long as I had an armor breaker, you could typically just ignore the Arda, right? Just kill everything else out. Unless it's getting revenge stuns every time, I don't think it was too good. So in my opinion, whenever I saw an Arda, I was just like never really scared of it. I can't think of if there were too many games where I felt like I needed to ban it. So I kind of want to put it in B. There are probably a few games where it was last picked. And if you're running like a full crit rate team with no sustain, maybe it's up here. But personally, I felt like it was B tier. I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, I'm gonna say B. B for Arda. Sorry. I guess we could also place Ferian. Ferian, I felt like was much more scary than Arda, especially those like Gapdoll, Ferian, Aaliyah players. They give this thing defense buff. You know, there's that one G3 guy who picks it a lot. And this thing can just hit so hard. It can strip provoke. It heals. Armor breaks. Does big damage. And you also can't even, like, snipe this out. Like, I remember there's games where I would armor break Ferian into Xerath skill 3 and it wouldn't die. Like, it's just super tanky. So I think Ferian is actually like A tier at least. Right, because of that damage reduction passive and having the sustain. Pretty strong. Okay, I don't think any of these are really Anti-Cleave. Yeah, not really. Again, I'm trying to keep this really focused on just cleaving, so. Okay, Laika. Okay, Laika. I'm gonna say A tier. He used to be up here in my opinion, but then as I realized, as long as you just stun him one time, or not even stun him, like sometimes he will just not revenge 3 times in a row, and then you end up killing him for free. So because of that, I always felt like he was up here and now he's down here. In fact, I think last season I placed him a tier below. But still a pretty strong counter pick in the right setup. Right, if you're picking like single target snipes, typically don't run any multi-hits. And you can't glance, so you can kind of just one-shot the snipes if they let it through and then just solo the whole team. But he does have his weaknesses, so I think it's at least A tier. You can still definitely solo, but yeah, most of the time, depending on the draft, if I have like Vanessa, Win Cookie, Charlotte, I could just stun him one time, right? Get like a 1v4 against Laika, stun him one time, and we're good. Oh, hey, Uncommon, thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream, man. Dark Demon, I don't think that's really Anti-Cleave. I mean, I'm willing to hear you out maybe you can convince me, but I don't think it's really like Anti-Cleave necessarily. You know what? Maybe you're right, because a lot of games I would, if you maybe you kill 2 units. You kill two units and then the Biels or something. It comes back, snipes one out. Okay, yeah, I'll place Dark Demon. I think in the draft, Dark Demon looks a lot scarier than he actually is. This season, I let quite a few through. And I find, like, as long as you just don't touch him, and you just save him for last, it's much more manageable. And there are even games where I just go for a full nuke on the team. Kill everything but 1 unit, right? And then you get like this, you basically trade. It becomes like he comes back, snipes one out, and then it becomes like a 2v3. But because people are building this on Vio, you just kill it again and you get a 3v1 and it's over. So, kind of more of like a scarier pick in the draft than actually in game. I also think people have been building it wrong. In my opinion, you should build it on Vampire so that when he comes back and kills something, you don't instantly just trade it again. That way he's, full HP. And you can kind of, maybe come back from that. So yeah, I think it's at least an A tier. You can also proc to kill him. Yeah, exactly. If you proc after killing a unit, then you just kill him again, right? So, and he loses to resets. That is also true, but he's more of a last pick, right? You wouldn't pick him into resets. So yeah, maybe he's a tier down. I don't know. Yeah, he's like somewhere in between. Personally, my feeling this season was that it was pretty easy to deal with. It was either I would deal with it or I would just ban it out. So, I don't know. That's true. I don't really run. That's also true. But it's like if you have Vanessa, no reset, then they're kind of forced to. They have to kill Vanessa first, right? And Vanessa actually has a reset, so you could get lucky. All right, so let's move on. Leo, I guess it was definitely. Leo's probably an S tier. I mean, not personally. I didn't really care too much about Leo's, but I think overall, for the majority of cleavers who don't run will runes, he's probably S tier just because you can mess up turn order, maybe even violent proc and then kill a unit. That's also pretty unfortunate when that happens. Yeah, Leo just does super unique unit. Definitely, I think S tier. I maybe it just depends on how experienced you are and how you're building stuff. Like, right, like if you're off will, probably S tier. If you're full will and then you have Leo counters, maybe it's like down here. But I'm gonna say overall, like pretty S tier unit overall. Let's see what else. Ragdoll. Jaeger, I don't know if Jaeger is really anti-cleave. He's probably more of like a CC cleave, right? Because he can't be stunned, and he's got the threat state counter. I'm not going to place it, though. I will place, of course, Ragdoll. You know what? Let's put Leo down here. I'm going to save S tier for the super hard counters. Ragdoll, obviously S tier. Been around forever. We all know you crit it. You go like for an AoE hit on a cleaver, and then the whole team probably moves. It really forces you to pivot into like bar boosters or single target snipes or CC sustain. So definitely super annoying. I know for me personally, if picking Charlotte or if they picked Ragdoll into Charlotte, it was always really bad. I always felt like, okay, I have to, you know, either rune up like my Draco to move in front of Charlotte to counter the Ragdoll passive, or I had to pick like go bruiser snipes like Shizuka, Firecast, something like that. So of course Ragdoll is going to be S tier. Okay, you think Leo deserves S tier, especially when he has Nemesis runes? Yeah, okay. I mean, I could see it. They're kind of I mean, I'm just saying for me personally, I would say A tier, but maybe overall for everybody else, yeah, S tier. All right, I'll put him in S. I could see that. Let's see, Abellio. We can do Abellio, and let me just load this, and we'll place these later. Samath. Kraken. Alright, let's start with these. Abellio, I freaking hate this unit. I hate this unit, S tier. Really stupid passive. The fact that it has no cool time, and you're just forced to sometimes like double or triple proc it, and he immediately has the heal back up. Feels really bad. He also has stun skill 1. He has defense. I think it's defense scaling skill 2 crit damage or damage. Again, that scales late game. Everything about the kid is just really good. So I think Abellio S tier. I mean, there's a lot of matches where if you're running like a Vanessa Cleave comp, you basically maybe just get one kill guaranteed with the armor break, and then you know you have to fight 3v4 into an Abellio with 2 others, and a lot of the times because of how good that passive is, they just have infinite sustain, damage provokes, you know. So yeah, I hope they nerf the passive on this thing sometimes, or eventually, but not really. His win rate was like not very good, apparently, and G3 was like sub 50%, so they're probably not even. Abellio's probably not even on the radar for nerfs, but yeah, I do think the passive is pretty dumb. Oh, Volantis. Yeah, Volantis. Yeah, I could probably place that in. Yeah, let's do Tyranis. I think Tyranis was okay. Whenever I fought it, I always felt like Nana was just much better. All right, being able to continue, like you just trade, but you're not actually progressing the game because they keep getting stacks, you know. With Tyranis, I think you could kind of ignore maybe. But yeah, they did give him a nice buff where he can, I guess it resets the cool time if you hit him or something like that, so he can continue to use the skill 3 a bit easier. But yeah, 3-turn defense buff is pretty good, as well as you know, the stun on skill 1 and then big damage on skill 2. I think it was okay. I didn't really. My feeling was that it wasn't super strong though. Whenever I fought one, so I think B tier. I would say B tier at least. I wasn't too scared of Tyranis for the most part. Yeah, we can do Volantis. Volantis is super annoying. But again, it is kind of an RNG pick, right? Like 40% chance to counter. Isn't good odds for your opponent. Like it's more of a just annoying to see in the draft. So yeah, I'd say it's more of just kind of a sacky pick. But still really good when it does happen. I mean, if it does proc, it's probably over. So yeah, I would say Tyranis is better than Elad. That's true. Yeah, Elad's in C. I'm gonna stick with that. Hagang not on the list. We're trying to focus in more on Cleave. I think you could probably make an argument for that it's an anti-Cleave unit. Hagang's just good into everything, so I'm trying to focus in on just more Cleave, hard counter Cleave stuff. But it, like, Hagang is, you could definitely make a good solid argument for that thing. I'm gonna say this time we don't place it though. But I mean, it does counter Gemini, it does counter Vanessa. Alright, you know what? Alright, there, we're done. We don't need to talk about it. It is what it is. Right? What else we got here? Samath. Samath is kind of like Beelzebub, right? Your opponent has to pick no resets, no healing. And then maybe he comes back, he does the skill 3, a skill 2 maybe, and then it just kills the whole team. So I think in the right setup, it could be pretty strong. I know personally, I didn't really, I have my Samath built for like LD cleavers, but I didn't really pick it that much this season. Like I rarely picked it. Yeah, I think because most of the like maxi Neff cleavers always run in Oliver. So obviously you're not going to pick, you don't want to pick Samath into resets if you're just going to let the opponent do whatever and you're not contesting turn 1. So yeah, I think Samath, maybe. For me, I think it's a B tier. Depending on what you're playing, though. I could see this maybe jumping up. But yeah, I'm going to say B tier. Same problems here, like all these are kind of weak to resets. Yeah, and everyone takes Oliver now, right? Exactly. Oliver, Samath was your 30. Yeah, doesn't that feel bad though when you have to pick Samath into Oliver just because you need the 33 lead to contest? Feels bad, right? Okay, Kraka. Okay. I know all the Kraka owners here say Kraka's belongs down here. I think she's at least a B tier. She still has Shatter, which is an AoE armor break. Steal, and she steals the buffs. So it's an AoE armor break buff removal with a defense lead, which is pretty annoying sometimes when you're not running ignore defense comps. As well as being able to AoE revive, full cool time reset everything with invincibility. It sounds good on paper, right? No, she belongs 2 tiers lower. Come on, she's at least a B tier. At least. She's definitely at least as good as these ones. Come on. She's not in Elad territory, I would say. Yeah, I'm going to say B tier. But yeah, no, I think people who play her have issues with the consistency on skill 2, right? Sometimes you just miss everything, maybe. And she doesn't really do too much. But I don't know, like a 2-turn Shatter on Despair build. Pretty annoying. And she needs 15 billion stats and still dies to any snipe and resets. That's true. Yeah, again, weak to resets. Yeah, so not great into the meta, obviously, but I think if you're cleaving, might be worth a ban sometimes. So yeah, let's crack up. Let's move on here. No, I don't think we need to place any of these ones. Okay, Geldnir maybe is worth talking about. I maybe fought a couple. And I didn't think it was really good because if you see Geldnir, yeah, like he can infinitely sustain, but if you're pivoting into a snipe or you're just AoE cleaving, I didn't think it was that great. I guess into AoE, I could see if you're running double AoE damage dealers, he'll heal in between, and then you just don't have enough juice to clear the team. So in that case, I think he's probably actually going to be A tier. But if you're pivoting correctly, it doesn't do much, right? Like, it just kind of sits there. So I think in my experience this season, I'm going to say C tier. I mean, it's not... I really did not see a whole lot of Geldnirs. But yeah, we'll just I'll just place it. Okay, Ethna. Yes, you're correct. Ethna is a good cleave counter, but again, that's a unit that's used for everything. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's like specific to counter cleaving. So I'm gonna say we don't place Ethna. Again, I'm trying to hone in here on just the anti-cleave stuff. Right, like Cardinal as well. It's I want to place this just because it has an HP lead, but it's like it's not really anti-cleave. It's just a good bruiser unit. Okay, Nana. Oops. Let me get that thing ready. Same with Wang. Wang is just universally good. Just a Xing. Is Xing? I guess Xing we could maybe place. Kind of makes sense. Cuts in stun stuff. Gwo we could place. Tian Lang, of course. Oops. Oh, I lost them. Here he is. Okay, let's start with these. Thabay? No, I don't think Thabay is it's not quite anti-cleave, I would say. Because don't you have to... It's not like a Carlos. Like, you have to use the skill 3 before it, you can get that part of the passive, right? Yeah, Amduat more, yeah, we'll get to those ones, I think. Okay, let's do Nana. I think Nana is, like, definitely A tier. Yeah, I think one of the bruiser comps I struggled into the most is like Gapdol Nana. And then you try to pick, right? You try to pick maybe like Jara, Sonya, and then maybe you have to kind of double kill something. But even if you successfully double kill something and make it a 3v4, they just trade. And then you get into this battle of attrition and they just slowly beat you. So, and then if you don't kill the Nana first, then they're just getting stacks when they trade. And then it just becomes really hard to come back. But yeah, AoE armor break. Pretty scary. Despair stuns. Yeah. Solid unit. At least an A for me. Okay, Xing. Should I play Xing? I don't know. Like, is it really counter cleave? I don't know. It's counter CC cleave, right? I don't think it's really counter cleave. Yeah, maybe I don't place it. I'm just gonna take this. Okay, Tian Lang, S tier. Not sure we really need to talk about it. It just counters all attack bar gain, right? So, and cleavers always run attack bar boosts, so for the most part, right? He cuts in, maybe stuns something, and the game's over. Yeah, definitely S tier. Gwo. I'm gonna say Gwo is maybe A tier. It's A tier against me because Gwo hard counters Wrath. Right, he lands Karma. And then if you can't use skill 3 because you go to 1 HP and you still do 0 damage. So that is definitely a hard counter pick. She also counters Molong Snipe. Stuff like that. But I found like if people were slamming Gwo into me, you just pick Draco. And then because Draco puts on like, 2 or 3 buffs, it makes it hard for her to strip Will and then put Karma up. So it's okay. But usually kind of a luck sack. There were games where she would actually strip immunity though and land Karma. And I'm just like, yeah, well, it's like 1 in 4 or something like that, right? So it could happen. But yeah, Gwo also pretty good into CC teams too, right? Yeah, I think she is good into a lot of the other stuff as well, but I think A sounds about right. I'm sure other cleavers would probably agree. Like, you don't want to see a Gwo pick, because then you're like, oh, is it gonna Karma Despair stun me and then just win the game? Feels bad. Let's see. Okay, Shizuka Seimei. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I should place those. Seimei is super strong. Seimei Shizuka is just good into everything besides resets for this. But I don't know. I wish Bonksy or Klo was in here, because I'd love to know their thoughts on those. Annabelle is kind of like a not really Anti-Cleave, in my opinion. So I'm not sure I'm going to place that. You know, I'm this list is going to be very subjective, I think. But it is my list, so we're just going to keep... Okay, Woosa. Woosa is always super annoying. I would say S tier. Against me, it was like S tier. I never wanted to see Woosas. Right, because of the shield plus healing, damage, immunity, so you couldn't really slow cleave it. Some of the Woosas were on Swift. Which again, if a Woosa outspeeds your Charlotte, then it just counters that fluff damage, and then you're not going to kill anything. So yeah, like Swift Woosa was definitely a problem for me. But yeah, tanky high base speed, exactly, yeah. So again, for me, I was never happy to see this thing. Let's see, did I miss anything? Okay, I will place Josephine, actually. I think she's more of course, like a CC cleave counter, but there were games where I'd like to go Gemini. Kind of the same reason for like Hagen. Like if I saw Josephine, I usually banned it because I had to. So yeah, maybe S tier for Josie. Like I'm not gonna let a Josephine through when I'm picking a Despair Gemini, because if I proc, then my combo is just dead and I lose instantly to bruisers. So yeah, probably S tier. I'm probably thinking about maybe building Gemini off Despair. Like maybe going for, I don't know, maybe like a high attack power Gemini or something. I don't know. Violent Gemini. Just so I wouldn't have to worry about Josephines anymore. So yeah, I think that is pretty strong. Just for Geminis. But also CC counters. You probably didn't like seeing Josephine. I think Leona's worth placing. Simply just like a forced ban. If you didn't pick an armor breaker, or you picked one armor breaker and they pick Leona, they kind of get a free ban. You know, because you're in a a bit of a mind game there. Like, are they really going to ban your armor breaker? You don't know. So it's like you get a free ban, a free force ban most of the time with Leona. If you don't, then she's just going to win. Right? So I think that's worth placing. Nigong. Let's see. Nigong. What do I think of Nigong? Nigong was pretty good. I think because Nigong has sustain, I would say it was better than these other revivers here. Right, because it's sustain, it also does damage. I think it has an HP lead too. And it also has the damage reduction passive, so usually if you see Nigong, it was like probably as annoying as Anana, maybe. So I would say, yeah, at least A tier. Super solid. Nigong so fake? I don't I think it depends, but I'm gonna say Nigong was pretty good whenever I saw it. Let's see what else we got here. Lydia. Yeah, I would say Lydia, and I guess I could just lump that in with Alex, right? Wait, where is Alex? Where are the ponies? Oh, right here. Yeah, like reflect damage. This being usually built on Nemesis, so it would cut in and then clear your team. Both of these were super annoying for me to fight. I always felt like if I saw these, you'd have to deal with them first. You know, like armor break, kill the Lydia. Same with Alex. Because if they survived, you're probably just going to get counter-cleaved. So yeah, for sure. Both of those definitely S tier. Tier's okay for him, although I'd place him along Tyranis. More, yeah, we'll get to more. But yeah, that's Alex and Lydia. Reflect damage, pretty strong against Cleave. Douglas. Dougie. Straight to S tier, super annoying unit. Since I didn't run too many water units or high attack fire pick units in my drafts, it was always like a 50-50 if Zerath would crit it. And then if you don't crit it, then there's like a high chance you'd lose the game. I think for that reason alone, it's pretty strong. Just super annoying. Like even if you picked, like I remember games where I picked Mei Ho Wang, thinking, oh, he'll ban this, right? Because it's gonna scale attack power. But no, he can just attack break Mei Ho Wang and then win. So he can kind of deal with some of the counter picks pretty well because he has attack break on skill 1. Yeah, I think Douglas is just really dumb. I think they need to take a look at the passive, nerf it a bit. Maybe drop the glance chance to like 40%. That way it's a bit in favor of someone who didn't stack, you know, full wind. He should really just be like a full wind, maybe some fire counter pick kind of unit. Yeah, Douglas is super strong. Douglas either an S or D. Yeah, he wins the game or he doesn't. Yeah, Woosa's Swift, or he's an S tier because of Swift Woosa's. You know, if it moves in front of a Cleave, then you're just dead. Like you probably don't have enough damage. He shouldn't be able to solo water. Yeah, I guess with the more buff now, it's a bit better for. Yeah, there's been games where he has soloed. He has 1v1 more and win in one, right? Like it does happen, which is really dumb. Let's see where else. Okay, Miles. I think, is Miles worth placing for anti? It's kind of in one of those areas, kind of like Ethna, where it's good into everything. You know, just generally the meta and cleavers. I am gonna place it though. I think it's another stupid unit. Like, why does a Vio unit get to outspeed my Swift sets? That's just stupid. He also has a defense lead. He has ignored damage or ignored defense, speed scaling. With a strip stun, it's just really dumb. So I think because I hate him so much, I will place it. I never liked seeing Oliver. And then, yeah, it's built on with shield sets, so that's more damage reduction for the team. Tanky, yeah, extremely tanky. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to build him with any crit rate, crit damage, or attack. He just does, he's a flying tank that hits like a truck. So yeah, we're gonna place it. Well, what else we got? Wait, I placed Douglas already, right? Yeah. So, Jackson. Again, Jackson's more of like a CC counter. It was really good into Charlotte, though. I will say that. Like, if you're someone who's rocking the Charlotte boost cleave, then this was pretty strong. So I guess I'll place it. Like, I think simply because it does hard counter like a lot of CC cleave players, and for me specifically Charlotte, if I boosted with Charlotte, the whole team would cut in usually. So just because of that was really bad. Okay, we'll do more. Where is it? Okay, with the buff to more, he's probably S tier now. This unit is pretty nasty now. I mean, I think you could probably build a more that cuts in with attack buff and maybe kills one of your cleavers. Probably. I haven't tried, but also if you're building it on Despair, that's just fine too. You just get like one Despair stun's all it takes to interrupt the combo, and you probably lose. For cleavers, for me, I think Charlotte, some mores would be off will, and you could kind of, there'd be some games where it doesn't actually get a turn because you push it back, or you glance it and it just misses the attack bar. Pushback, stuff like that could happen. Or if I was using Chandra, you could hug your damage dealer, and then that just adds a second buff for more to strip, and he just, odds that he pushes back are a bit lower. So yeah, probably overall it's like S tier now. Speed lead, so it means that your opponent can contest turn 1 if they want, and then also have the chance to screw you over with a Despair Stun or just kill something. Well, let's see here. Eleanor. Again, kind of another sacky pick, but 15% chance to glance, 15% to miss your crit. Pretty good against cleavers, right? Really annoying. Also very strong into CC teams and resets, because I think if you could reset the Eleanor, but if she procs one time, I believe she can transform and then put up immunity and then maybe cleanse. So yeah, that thing is super strong. Geldnir, Abellio, Ragdoll. I should theoretically win against you, yeah. Those are all pretty annoying for me. For sure. Let's see what else we have. I think maybe... Oh, Diana. Yeah, I also did not like seeing Diana's. Again, she cuts in, puts up shield, and then maybe you don't have enough damage to kill anything. Or she cuts in, transforms, and then just kills one of your damage dealers off. And then, of course, we also have the chance that she violent procs to infinity and just gets a free win. So, yeah, S tier. Yeah, very strong. Achroma. I think for Cleave, if you're picking Achroma just for an HP lead and the crit chance, I don't think it's ever actually really good. I should probably at least put it A though. So it depends. Like if it's a CC Cleave, then she's probably S tier. I think for just Anti-Cleave, if you're picking it just for the HP lead and the crit rate thing, it's not that great. Like usually what ends up happening is everything dies. Maybe like 2 units die and you get a 2v4 and your Achroma has to solo the entire team. I just didn't see it happening. But yeah, for Anti-Cleave, she's probably not that great. I'll put her at least A. But yeah, again, like I'll put her A because of the sack chance. Right? Like you miss 3 crits, it's over. What else? And she has an HP lead, so pretty good for bruisering. Cadiz, Julian. No, I don't think Julian. Julian's like, again, that's one of the units that's just overall very strong into everything. Not really Anti-Cleave, because if you're cleaving, everything's dying. So that means the passive isn't great. So I'm gonna not place that guy. Minato. I'm gonna place Minato actually. I think Minato is actually kind of A tier. At least for me, if you're someone who's running the Vanessa, okay, it depends. For me, if you're running Charlotte, then Minato becomes kind of annoying to deal with because he'll put threat state up, and then you have to waste your Vanessa turn to get rid of the threat state, which means you don't get to put an armor break on the unit you want. So I think just because of that, it's pretty good. If you're running a cleave, kind of like mine. Also, kind of good into some of the meta stuff for the same reason. Like if you have Chandra boosting, Minato puts threat state up, and then Sagar has to waste his turn on him, so he can't like reset something. So maybe some potential there. And if you're, yeah, I think maybe also if you're running like Carlos, could maybe solo your team in the right draft. So yeah, I think at least A tier. I definitely got soloed by some Minatos this season. Oh, Carlos, yes. Carlos. Oh. My camera died. I might just have to wake it up. Let's see here. There, we're back. Okay. Carlos. Carlos, I think, is A tier. Yeah, I always felt like, okay, if people were picking it into me, I could just kill it first, right? You just armor break it. It becomes the target for Zerath, and it's just dead. I think for Sonya's, if you're a Sonya comp, I think maybe it's still A tier. I've seen a lot of, single target snipe comps. They just let Carlos through, and they'll try to, 50-50 the crit. And then just get like maybe try to get a 3v4. Just make sure he dies. Yeah, I didn't think it was too strong into me. But again, I didn't run that kind of comp at all, so I need more input from other people. I think it was pretty good though. I personally loved picking Carlos into the bruiser players that picked Nana, Leo. Like I would love playing with Carlos. But I think in terms of Anti-Cleave, yeah, I mean, he has the potential to, like, maybe if there's a wind, like a Lucian or a Sonya, then he could cut in and then kill stuff. So at least an A tier probably. Kind of depends. Yeah, we got these guys. Vanessa, I think Vanessa's worth placing. Probably like A tier. Right, if you're again like a Sonya player, then you wanted the Vanessa. You didn't want to play against it. And it's the same for me. If people took the Vanessa, I would just go full bruiser. Because I was kind of relying on it a lot to contest turn 1 and also set up an armor break. But yeah, I think in terms of Anti-Cleave, just having like a reviver, 33 speed lead, so you could contest turn 1, could be pretty scary. So at least an A tier. Yeah, speed lead plus revive, exactly. Hey, SSJ, what's up, man? See, I could ask you, would you put Carlos in A tier or S tier against Sonya teams? Because I know I've seen a lot of those guys, they let Carlos through sometimes. Right, like if you're picking Leo Carlos, they usually just ban the Leo instead of Carlos. So yeah, any A is okay. So yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. You can 50-50 the Carlos. So yeah, we'll say A for Carlos. What else we got? Sonya, Claire, Veronica. Okay, the cookies. We'll place Angela. This thing, dude. This thing's probably S tier. Actually, probably S tier. You pair this with like the Ragdoll. Like I saw a lot of reflect damage bruiser guys. Ragdoll, Alex, Angela. Super annoying. Super annoying. And there was one guy who was running this like on a double Nem will, so it would always cut in, even if there was no Ragdoll, and then put up shield and then the reflect damage. Yeah, it's really hard to deal with sometimes. Even if she misses crits, she might kill. Oh, you mean Sonya? Yeah, like a glance. Yeah, I think Angela, really difficult to deal with. A lot of sustain. And she can even like 1v1 stuff, right? Because it's going to be a shield every turn, a heal every turn, and then you're reflecting damage. So really good. I think Lucia, again, that's more like anti-CC, so I'm not going to place it, but this is really good. Okay, the light cookie. Light cookie, I did see some people picking it into me. I think it doesn't have a lead. It has a defense leader skill, right? Or is it resistance leader skill? It's one of those, but it has the really good skill 2, which is the shield heal. Same with Angela. And then the revive, endure, reset. So, jeez, my camera. So I always thought it was pretty good. just to be like, you know, like you have Vanessa armor rig set up, and then you maybe you kill 2, but then this just revives, heals the whole team. I thought it was okay, actually. Most of the time, I think I let it through, but it was always really annoying. Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, at least A. I'm sure I know a lot of people who have her always complain that she doesn't do enough. But I mean, from my viewpoint, I think she was pretty annoying. Like Jin Yao was using it a lot into me. We did more. We did all this stuff, right? So we're down here. Manon. Okay, I guess we could place Manon. I think it's I didn't really see a lot of these, actually. I think it's okay, but people don't really have this ruined up anymore. I think just because it has that 15% chance to block the damage, maybe set up an armor break, like it's okay. Yeah, nobody really picks this thing anymore. Yeah, sorry, the focus was messed up. Try to fix it. So Manon. Do you guys think is Audrey Anti-Cleave? I don't know. I had some people run this against me. I'm not sure it's really Anti-Cleave. I could definitely do this thing. I would say in the right draft, the fire cookie could work. Like some are built Nemesis, and then they cut in, and then they put up the third skill, and then you can't do damage anymore. So yeah, I think for that reason, there's also a few drafts where was it like some kind of Leo team? Maybe not. I don't know. It's just like if this gets a turn and you're trying to cleave, then you can't do damage anymore, basically. So I think it's at least an A. Oh, Emma, yeah, you've been picking a lot? Yeah, would you agree it's like at least an A? I mean, you don't really see it too often, but there were definitely some games where I felt like I should just ban it. So yeah, I'm gonna say A. Firecast we could place. I think A tier at least. I think she looks scarier in the draft than she is actually in game. I mean, if she actually cut in between Charlotte and then was able to hit something, then it was kind of annoying. But if she didn't do that, you could typically just kill everything else. And as long as you have Vanessa, because I run like a pretty tanky Vanessa on -fire, usually the Firecast couldn't kill it. So I think she's at least A. But yeah, like could be pretty annoying sometimes. So there's like the Shizuka Firecast combo. Could be really good. Yeah, it's a free one if they don't speed contest you. Oh, okay, yeah. For sure. Yeah, you pick it and do bruiser teams. Yeah, maybe I'll go back and try it out again. Because I do like it. Right, you get to move 3 times or so. So all your cool times are basically back up. Yeah. But anyways, I think Firecast, yeah. A tier. Could be pretty good. But kind of like BL's where I think you just let her through and try to ignore it. I think we're don't think any of these are really Anti-Cleave necessarily. Maybe Water Indra could be, since it's one of those like revivers back. I'm gonna say A tier, yeah, because it could come back, and then you're just like locked down if he doesn't miss, right? So yeah, at least A tier for Water Indra, just for that reason. Light Layla? Oh, you mean Dorothy? Dorothy's not really Anti-Cleave, unless you're thinking of someone else. Let's see, what else? Oh, this thing. You mean this thing. I mean, I guess I never saw one, to be honest. I might have seen one the entire season. Like, I mean, it's nice that it ignores. It's kind of like a Achroma, right? But it can, I think it can strip and slow and Despair Stone stuff. So I think it depends. Yeah, honestly, I just never really saw too many of these. I don't think it was great. But I don't know, maybe you guys can... Anyone have experience with that thing? Yeah, she's more like... I think she's more like CC, anti-CC. So... I don't think I'm going to place it. Yeah, I don't think these are really... Okay, yeah, here we go. Byung-chul. I think that thing was A tier at least. Just because you're getting that damage reduction passive, it makes it really hard to like snipe him out or AoE cleave him. And then he'll survive, do a ton of damage to you, and heal the team at the same time. So yeah, maybe even S tier because of that. Or like, it's very hard to kill this thing, especially when you're pairing it with like Ragdoll, Angela, Nana. Like, it's pretty hard to deal with him. Like, he's super tanky and he does a lot of damage, so I think it is an S tier Anti-Cleave unit. Yeah, you can't kill her easily though because yeah, Death Break doesn't work. That's true. Yeah, Byung-chul, very good. And of course, Gapsu, I'm gonna put S tier as well. Yep, the Gapdoll, like Gapdoll and Nana Byung-chul was actually could be kind of scary. It depends on if I was going the Gemini route, I actually like my draft into those. But if I was doing like the Vanessa opener, then that team was really difficult to deal with. But yeah, Gapsu, just a menace. Tanky, heals, does damage, can stun, steals buffs. Like, this unit does everything. So for sure S tier. Right, HP lead of course is actually like huge for those bruiser teams. Yeah, I think we're almost done here. I know we're also missing some of the Nat 4 stuff. I couldn't find this is like the most updated tier list, unfortunately. So maybe I'll just try and type those out, type the ones that we're missing out. Oh, we could maybe do Nyx. Nyx is kind of Anti-Cleave because you need a lot of cleaves. You need armor break set up, and because if you armor break something, you're taking 20% less damage. So I thought that's pretty good. And he also has a HP lead. He also has armor break. So he can just, he's like multifunctional, right? He has the damage reduction, and then he also can like CC the team and set up kills. I think, yeah, I think it's probably somewhere A or S tier. Can we treat Sonya as Anti-Cleave? I'm gonna say no. I see what you're saying though, because of the glance chance and the outspeed potential, but like, I'm thinking more of like turn 2, I guess, for the most part. Fire Megumi. Yeah, we could do Fire Megumi, I guess. Fire Megumi is really good into me. I'm not sure they're... I don't think they're in here, though. Are they? Oh, yeah, he is. Okay, yeah, hold on. Let me check here. Yeah, Fire Megumi. Fire Megumi. I think it's at least A. It's kind of like Vanessa, where you're picking it for the speed lead, and then you're contesting turn 1 a bit, so your opponent has to sort of address whether they want to pivot or not, or go full turn 1. Yeah, I think for me it was a hard counter because Charlotte is gonna hit everything, and then he'll just stuns her ass. So if I saw Megumi, I always had to pivot into like a Rakuni or something. It's like, so you're talking about Sonya, right? If you let her through. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's kind of getting, like, I didn't place Ethna for the same reason. Like, Sonya's kind of just a good unit overall. I wouldn't necessarily say it's purely Anti-Cleave. Although, again, this list is very subjective, so I'm trying to hone in on just the more bruisery Cleave stuff. Yeah, Megumi worse than Gapsu. I think if you look at the win rate for Megumi, it was actually like sub 50% for some reason. Gapsu was definitely like good into everything. So yeah, I mean, I'm a little torn. I see what you're saying, but I think Megumi... I think Gapsu is just way more annoying than Megumi. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, people pick Megumi wrong. To be honest, he's not in every draft. Like, yeah, I would agree with that too. I agree that people were using him as maybe like a core speed lead when they shouldn't be doing that. It should have been more of a like counter pick pivot kind of thing. So I think I'm just gonna keep him in A tier. But yeah, it was definitely a hard counter pick into me, and it forced me to pivot like every time. So see, Megumi. I don't think any of the Gojos are worth placing, and then I don't think the Drakons are worth placing. I never saw the light one, so I can't really comment on that. I could speculate that unit would probably be maybe A tier. I don't know. I'm just not gonna place it. So the units we didn't place. Pontos, okay. Pontos. I would say if it's a Nemesis Pontos, yeah, it's worth placing. Yeah, I mean, speed lead, if it's a Nemesis Pontos, it's just like, and you proc it, you just win the game. So sure, S tier. Speed lead, invincibility, Nemtrap, S tier. Like if you don't see the Nemesis Pontos coming, then you probably lose. But I would say if I see a Pontos, I always kind of suspect that it might be Nem, and then I'll try to draft for that. So yeah, it can kind of just depend. Yeah, you should put Nemesis runes as yeah. I have to do a rune tier list. So I think one we did not talk about was Miho. I think last season I put her way high. In fact, I think last week Cabrera got me with a Miho. So Miho is like one of those units where you pick it correctly, it's S tier because it's like a must ban. You pick it kind of poorly, it's probably like you just ignore it. So, but I think for pure cleaving, maybe it's like maybe you compromise and put it A tier. Who's a good Miho replacement? There's no like okay, here, Layla. Or not Layla. What's this thing's name? The dark demon girl is gonna be Miho. So like, yeah, we'll split the difference there. Liliana, thank you. Liliana is Miho. Oh yeah, and then there's Wind Anubis. I'd actually probably put that maybe B tier. You know what? Okay, again, like Miho is S tier if you pick it right. If you pick it improperly, then it's a B tier. And personally, I think most people pick Miho. Not very, like they don't pick it right. So I'm gonna say it's B tier. Same with Ayunu. I think it's also probably B tier. Ayunu gets countered pretty hard by attack bar boost, right? Because if you could kill him, he'll get the reflect damage, but then the rest of your second damage dealer will still go if you have attack bar boost. So I would say Ayunu is probably B tier as well. I didn't really pick it as much this season. Isn't that the same with Leona? That's a good point. Yeah, but I would say Leona in the draft, even if you, let's say you bluff and then you let the armor breaker through, Leona could still strip provoke. Like Miho doesn't really do anything. Like she can do damage, of course, but like Leona can also do quite a bit of damage, and the stun is, I think the stun's 100%, right? And then strip provoke is really strong. Yeah, I think I'd still rate Leona a bit higher than the Miho anyways. Am I missing anything else, guys? I guess Vertiheel. Yeah, Vertiheel. I'd probably just put that thing triple S. We'll put Cadiz up here. Just because we all hate Vertiheel. We all hate triple revenge Verd. Like, it revenges and then you just lose the game. But yeah, I mean, depends on the cleave. Like if you're running an attack bar boost cleave, maybe you don't care about triple revenge Verd as much. But some of the other ones, like maybe a Gemini cleave, Charlotte cleave, you probably care a bit about it. Yeah, I didn't place Julianne because I think in like an AoE cleave, it's not really a factor. I think Julian's actually kind of weak to cleave. From my experience, you just ignore the Julian and kill everything else. And a lot of Julians aren't on will, so if you're running Charlotte, you just push it back. Huadam. Huadam. Okay, again, I'm going to have to note some of these. Okay, Ezio, does Ezio kind of look like Huadam? Never really saw Huadam that much. It's probably like C tier. Because, I mean, it's a... Oh, Triana as well. We need to place Triana somewhere. Triana's like, I think better. Triana might actually be A tier, depending. Yeah, but Huanam, I don't think Huanam is really that great because you don't really doesn't do too much. It doesn't heal your team. It just has like this, maybe it is spare stun on skill 2. So it's sort of just sitting there, kind of like Geldnir. Triana on the other hand has healing. You know, it prevents Bioproc if you are proccing the passive. Speed scaling skill 1. Yeah, I think Triana is just better. Especially into single target snipes. You could build a triple defense Triana maybe and trap Sonya's. Deva, I don't think Deva's really anti-cleave. Right, like if you look at that unit in a vacuum, first of all, he has to transform to get the reflect damage. And I think what makes Deva good for anti-cleave is gonna be Ragdoll, Gapu anyways. So yeah, I'm not gonna place that. So yeah, super high HP Triana is better. -1 versus Sonya, but high HP. Yeah, I could see that. That's probably a good point. Like you could probably just build 2 Trianas. Because everyone has dupe Trianas from Siege, right? Just build one -wind on high HP and then maybe like a -fire one on high defense. Something like that. But yeah, I think that's basically it, guys. So yeah, season 31 Anti-Cleave tier list should look something like this. But yeah, I mean, Ragdoll, the units I never wanted to see. Ragdoll, Tian Lang, Woosa, Miles. I think those are the most annoying units for me this season. And then everything else up here is like, again, super annoying, but I felt like I had better drafts. I could draft into them a bit easier. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this stream, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching the Legend Tournament with me.